Well, guys, it's good to be here. My name's Drew Romo. I'm currently a police officer. I wasn't always a police officer. At one point, I made a mistake that actually got me out of law enforcement and back in. I want to talk to you about a concept called chasing fear. It might sound counterintuitive, something that you're not used to hearing, right? But I want to make a distinction between chasing the thrill in life and chasing fear, because often we can get those muddied and we can group those two. For instance, I was in a pursuit today. Ironically enough, I was like, oh, cool, I have a story for my talk tonight. And we went all the way down to Davis in this pursuit, and I was number 4 in line, and I brought my stop sticks out. I pulled over real quick because I'm about to hop in as number 4. I got stop sticks out. If you don't know what that is, that's like what cool people use, and they throw it across the road, and it like blows tires out. People spin out, and they go off the road, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be the hero, right? So I'm chasing this thrill. I'm number 4 in the pursuit. We're cruising down 50, we're getting on 80, and I'm going like 100 miles per hour, right? But the problem was I didn't have any fear in that moment. I was chasing a thrill. But to the outside looking in, you might think that that's scary or that's a fear. So what I want to make the distinction of is we can often confuse our own minds and trick ourselves into this concept of, well, I'm chasing my fear. I'm doing things that are scary, quote unquote. I'm going skydiving, or I'm doing this crazy thing. And we're not actually chasing our deep-rooted fears. We're chasing the thrill of something that's fun, something that makes us happy or gives us a deeper feeling of self, right? But what I want to propose to you is a concept of chasing fear, and while it sounds counterintuitive, it's actually saved my life, and it's made me grow professionally and personally. I've been married for 6 years to my beautiful wife. We have 2 young children, and if I didn't follow this concept and the framework that I'm going to give you guys to practically walk out professionally and personally, I wouldn't be the husband, the father, and the professional that I am. I wouldn't be able to communicate to teams and organizations and businesses and from a stage and in small rooms and big rooms if I didn't follow this, because I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in today. So it's an important concept. It's played a profound role in my life of chasing fear, not chasing thrill. And I want to unpack 3 levels of fear, okay, that we often as men, we go through. People go through them generally, but as men, I think we can relate. So the first level is a low level of fear, right? Think of, you guys ever lost your keys? And you're like running around the house and you're like, where are my keys? I can't find them. I don't understand. I don't remember where and they're in your pocket. And you're like, where did my keys go? Or you lose your phone, and you ever seen this person, or you might have been this person, where you're literally talking on your phone and you're asking people around you, where's my phone? But you're so distracted that this little low level of fear, because this is our lives are on these things. That low level of fear starts to creep in, but it's in your hand. So that's the first level of fear, it's low level. And then there's a mid level of fear. Anybody ever driven to LA before? Mostly everybody here, right? If you've lived in California long enough. You know the Grapevine? That scary place that's like, it seems like a 3-hour drive and everybody tells you it's like an hour, but you can't find civilian life anywhere for like 60 miles, right? So this mid-level of fear is after you go to the pit stop, you know, that last one with like the 25 stores and outlets and food places and the Shell gas station, all that stuff. Like if you're like 10 miles into the Grapevine and you have to go number 2, that's that mid-level of fear. You know what I'm saying? Like we feel that when we're on the Grapevine and we have to go poop, but like it's not going to ruin your life, but it might ruin your day. You know what I'm saying? Fair enough. Yeah. But that's that mid-level of fear. But I want to talk about the high level of fear. So there's low level, mid level, and high level of fear. What does high level look like? That looks like deep-rooted trauma. That looks like pain. That looks like failure. That looks like a mistake that we've made. That looks like a lifestyle that we're not living the one that we want to live. That looks like betrayal from somebody important to us. That's a high level of fear that's actually debilitating and can cripple us. And this comes into play, believe it or not, believe me or not, in your professional golf lives and careers. this deep-rooted fear that we don't deal with, but it actually causes something to happen in our brains with our mental capacity. And these fears come in 3 categories. They stem from one of these 3. The first one, it's the unknown. So fear often comes into our mind from not understanding what the outcome is going to be. It's the classic what if question. What if I try and go for the pin, but I end up in the bunker? What if I try and go for the green, but I end up high right in the rough? It's the fear of the unknown. You guys ever heard of the yips? I'm a baseball player. Yeah. That's a stupid question, right? But I don't like to assume my audience knows what I'm talking about, so I want to make sure that the verbiage is correct and accurate. So I was a college baseball player. I didn't play golf. I love golf. I suck at golf. So if any of you guys are giving lessons, please, but it needs to be at a discounted rate because I'm a cop, okay? All right, so the yips. Like there was one point in my college career where the ball looked this big, but I couldn't hit that with one of those blow-up bats. I could not hit the ball to save my life. It seemed like I struck out every single time I approached the plate. I didn't understand why. But instead of being proactive and chasing that fear or the yips or the slump, I was reactive and I was on the defensive rather than the offensive. I didn't chase that fear. I let the fear chase me. And that's what I want to talk to you about tonight. So that the first level, the first category rather, is the unknown. The second is the unlikely. These are pressures that we put on ourselves, okay, that are highly unlikely to happen. For instance, nobody's putting a gun to your head and saying that you have to par this hole. But the professional in us says, and we put that pressure on ourselves, maybe not that extreme, but I'm an extremist and I'm a college baseball player, so I understand what that feels like. I have to move this runner over or X, Y, and Z will happen. And it's gonna be really bad. I have to birdie this hole or this really bad thing is gonna happen. And as I approach the framework after the last category, I'm going to talk to you about how I worked through fear and how you guys in your professional golf careers can actually apply this framework to your lives to assess fear and actually figure out what's the reality behind this fear that I'm facing and feeling. And I don't want you to run from fear. I want you to run towards it. And that seems opposite of maybe what we've always been taught. So the last is the uncontrollable. So we have the unknown, we have the unlikely, and we have the uncontrollable. And as athletes, I know that you've been told this thousands and thousands of times. Control what you can control. I hate that saying. Shut up, coach. Sorry, not you. Not this coach. Other coaches in my past. That's what I want to tell them. Control what you can control, but it's so true. It's hard, but it's true. Now, if we can control what we can control, then that means that we have to assess what are the uncontrollables. This could be things like judgment. This could be things like failing because it's inevitable that we do. It's how we respond to it. This could be things like pressures. This could be things like weathers. This could be things like disappointing somebody or a group of people that maybe have counted on you. But what's the reality of what's uncontrollable versus what we can control? You can control whether or not you're going to take that shot at the pin. You can control if you're going to try and lay up on the green on this shot or get out of the bunker on the next shot. You can control if you go into the rough what the next shot is going to look like. But if you're focused on what you can't control, which is actually what you've already done, that's going to linger, and that fear is going to attack you rather than you attacking it. You guys following? Perfect. So this framework, it's called ACE. Perfect. You're golfers, okay? Hole in one. Like Golfers are like baseball players. Not all of us are the smartest, okay? So I made it easy for you guys. I'm just kidding. Chill. Jeez, okay. I assume probably all you guys are very smart. Okay, ace. He's like, not you over there. Yeah, it's not a chance to nudge your partner and be like, yeah, he's talking about you. Ace, so we're gonna first assess this fear. We're gonna find out what's the reality behind the fear that I'm actually going through. We're gonna accept that fear is a real thing. We're not gonna be tough alpha males like we all want to be most of the time. And we're gonna say, nah, fear is a real emotion that we've been given to feel. So what do we do with it? Well, we assess it. We identify it, we name it and claim it, and we say, I'm actually terrified of this situation or this happening, or maybe for you, it's I have a fear of failing. I have a fear of disappointing my mom or dad or this person that's bet a lot on me. I have a fear of hitting this shot. I get the yips every time it rains. I can't seem to hold on to my club or hit the ball straight, or every time the wind blows, it seems like I'm just high and right, or I slice. What's your fear? And it may be deeper rooted than those. And I'm not asking you to tell me, but I do want you to identify it, and I want you to be able to assess it. But I'm talking from a professional level on a course when you're at the Big Sky Conference Championship in 1.5 weeks, assess that shot that's maybe bringing you a little bit of fear. Maybe it's low level, maybe it's mid level, maybe it's high level. Or maybe it's an outside thing that's influencing your game. Maybe you know or you think that you can't do something, or you're not going to progress to the next level, or you're gonna fail in this area, or you don't have life figured out yet. Maybe those are some fears that I'm naming right now that are striking a chord. I don't know you, but I do know that fear is real. And I do know that I've felt a deep level of fear that's pretty much debilitated me for a season. And I'm gonna get there in a second. But how do we assess that fear? What does that look like? So that's the first step of the framework. The C, ACE, we're going to assess, then we're going to challenge that fear. So we're going to challenge our limiting beliefs is what I call them. Does everybody know what a limiting belief is? Everybody in their life reaches a ceiling or a cap. I believe that caps come from limiting beliefs. I think the possibilities are endless. I think that you have more potential than you see in yourselves or coach sees in you. And who's making the rules here? Like, what's to say that you can't go pro? What's to say that you can't win the championship? What's to say that you can't get on tour? Who's making the rules? So if you have a fear, we assess it and then we challenge what we actually have come to believe about it. So if you believe something that's maybe not true, tell yourself that it's not true. Or if it is true, tell yourself that it is true, but don't make it about fearing something that's going to stop you from doing it, that's going to develop you in a professional or personal manner. Challenge it. I want to challenge you to challenge your fears. And not only to challenge them, but to chase them, which brings me to my next point, which is execution. So we're going to assess, we're going to challenge, and then we're going to execute. So this could look as simple as this. I'm terrified because I'm on hole 16 and I know that I have to beat this score and I have to birdie this hole. Okay, you assessed what needs to happen. You know that you have to play aggressive and hit this shot in the perfect spot at the perfect time with the perfect swing. Well, how many reps have you put in? How many swings have you actually put in your lifetime? Shooting that same shot off the tee. Maybe it's a different course, different terrain, different setting, environment, weather. Okay, cool. I'm asking, when you assess this, what have you done to prepare? Stay in your process, like Coach likes to tell you, right? Stay in your process. If we're assessing the reality of that fear that we've developed, we can come to a conclusion and a calming sense of self to say, I've put in thousands of swings that look the same as the one I'm about to take. I'm confident in hitting this shot. I'm confident that I can birdie this hole. So we're assessing, right? We're assessing. Let's say we're still not there. We're going to challenge our limiting belief. if I take this shot and play aggressively because my team needs me here, what's the worst that could happen? You hit a bad shot. Has Scotty Scheffler ever hit a bad shot? Yeah, plenty of them. Rory McIlroy? Cool. Those guys, obviously, you guys know, are at the top of the food chain. So if they are allowed to hit bad shots, then you for dang sure are allowed to hit bad shots. But you know what separates great professionals from average professionals? The way that they chase their fear. And I've come to this conclusion because I've experienced it. So I told you as I would get to my story, and the way that I've chased fear and I've developed as a professional and in my personal life is I had a failure, a great big fat failure. So I was a cop back in 2019 and 20. And I went, like any smart man, to a bachelor party in Arizona. I flew there, I went to Topgolf of all places, and I got blacked out drunk by 12 p.m. I then proceeded to go downtown Scottsdale, and I got kicked out of 5 or 6 bars, I can't remember, because I was blacked out. And next thing you know, there's 2 mounted horse units, there's a couple sergeants, and there's like 6 officers, and I'm in cuffs as an off-duty police officer. They take me to jail. I call my lieutenant from the drunk tank, and I tell him how unfair life is and that I'm a cop and I shouldn't be in jail. He says, we'll figure it out. Just get home safely. So I get home, or to the Airbnb, and I wake up the next morning, and I thought it was a nightmare. No, I really spent the night in jail. I really told them that I was a cop. And I really just failed miserably and humiliated myself and the entire profession of law enforcement by doing what I did. And 4 days later, come to find out, I got fired and I lost everything because of a failure, because of a mistake. Anybody ever made a mistake before? Is it on camera? Some of y'all like, some of them. Like, hey. Mine went viral years later. My arrest footage went completely viral on every platform. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and that's not a flex. I'm just telling you that's some deep-rooted trauma. So when I'm talking about this concept of chasing fear, it's because I understand that there was a debilitating level of fear that came over me when I had people trolling me on the internet, sending me the link for the first time to watch myself get arrested. I mean, can you imagine? And I'm not asking for pity, but like, can you imagine seeing your worst mistake? I'm talking your worst mistake. Don't sugarcoat it. Think of it in your head, the worst thing you've ever done. Imagine millions. I'm talking, it was at 1.5 million views after 14 hours. Like, I went viral for all the wrong reasons. Now, I had a decision to make. Was I going to stay on the defensive of this thing? Or was I going to be proactive and chase the fear? So to tie it up, years later, I was called back into law enforcement. The dark waters that comes with it, being a light to people in the darkest days, including my coworkers in the department. With my arrest footage that was viral, my entire department that I got hired on with eventually, every person in that department saw my arrest footage. One person challenged my hiring with the city, went into the city manager's office and said, why the hell are we hiring this guy? He's making a fool of himself on body camera. And this is 5 years removed. So I've relived my fear several times, more times than I can count. I felt this feeling in my stomach of, I can't go back into law enforcement after this. But my decision to chase my fear, the one deep-rooted fear that I had was I said I'd never go back to law enforcement. I would never return because I was too humiliated. I was too embarrassed. So when I talk about that high level of fear, I was at the highest level of fear that I have ever personally went through, but I assessed it. What's the worst that could happen? People don't like me. I know who I am now. I'm married. I have 2 beautiful children. My character is way further developed. I'm a professional. It's different. It's 5 years later. I've grown up. I've done things and chosen things that have changed my life completely and drastically, but they wouldn't know that. But as I'm assessing this, what's the worst that could happen? I'm terrified to go back into law enforcement, but I assessed the fear. What's going to happen? Am I going to die? I mean, I could, given the job that I'm in, but I'm not going to get killed for going back into law enforcement. That's not going to be a repercussion for me. What's the worst that can happen? People are going to judge me for my past. They have a past too. It's just not on body cam. It's just not on iPhone. It's just not on the internet. But they have a past, if we're being honest. I'm the same as them as far as mistakes. And then I challenge that belief. How much of an impact could my story make to fellow officers that have failed? How much of an impact could I make on people like young men like yourselves in teams and organizations and police departments and other professional arenas of business and things of such from a story like this? If I say no and I'm on the defensive of my fear, I never get to tell my story at a high level. But if I say yes and I chase that fear, what's the worst that can happen? So then I executed it. And I told my wife the department that I was going to get hired at. I have receipts of that. And then I proceeded to chase my fear to the highest level that I've ever known how. It was the most uncomfortable I've ever been. I had panic attacks the entire months of training. But you want to know the best part? The training coming back into law enforcement was supposed to take 18 weeks. It took me 10. Nobody ever, to my face at least, confronted me on my mistake, talked bad about me. Nothing. It was smooth. Now I have a specialty assignment that I just signed for 8 years within the school district. So I'm a police officer on campuses where I'm working with youth and youth development and giving to speak and be a light in their lives, sharing my story and how they can become something even with mistakes and background and upbringing. And I also just got a therapy canine where I get to work with officers, the FBI, debriefs, critical incident stuff. If I said no and let my fear chase me instead of chasing my fear, I have no idea where my life would be. I don't think I would be a successful husband. I don't think that I would be a great father to my 2 children. I don't think that I would be a great mentor and coach to men, and I don't think that I would be the professional that I am. So to wrap this up, I really want to encourage you guys. I don't want this to just be a motivational story of, dang, this dude got arrested, that's crazy. Like, I really hope that you can apply this framework, my story, the fact that you can really chase your fear and what's the worst that can happen. You could really take that shot. You could really work hard to go on tour. You could really make opportunities for yourself. You could really give professional lessons at a high level. You have opportunities. You're all gifted in and of yourselves in a very unique way. You all have gifts. It's whether or not you're going to choose to use them and chase that fear and that failure and that discomfort, or if you're going to be on the defensive, letting that fear run you over. So, really pulling for you guys in the next week and a half with the Big Sky Conference Championship. I'm going to be checking in with him, but I really do hope this was impactful as far as the practical framework and yes, motivation, but that's not always my goal. I'd rather have a lasting impact on what you can do rather than just waking up tomorrow and being inspired for a day. So thank you guys. Appreciate your time. Yeah. Let's eat.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You got anything for him?
Food's not ready yet.
Oh, my bad. Let's not eat. I lied.
It's being delivered.
Oh, from Go4?
Yeah. Hot and ready, babe.
Hot and ready, dude. I haven't had Little Caesars in a while.
No.
They upped the price.
Little
So.
Caesars slogan.
What happened with your baseball?
Like, how'd I get out of it? I kind of drank my career away, if I'm being honest. So that one's a little more of do as I say, not as I do. I led quite the rebellion in college. I looked for every excuse I could to go out and party and sleep with women and do all the wrong things in all the wrong places. I was I tell those people, I was everything wrong with a college athlete in one person. That was me. You're like, no, it's not wrong. It's no. Like, I was everything wrong with a college athlete in compiled into one person. And I really just drank my career away. I was talented and played football, quarterback too, and just chose a different route. And I was not the most humble man in college, and I was not living right. I was doing anything I wanted whenever I wanted. And that led me to the path of destruction. I fully believe that. It was my decisions leading up to. It wasn't just that was a bad night. Like, yeah, it was obviously a bad night and it was a one-off, but I had been that rowdy plenty of times, if not rowdier, in different bars and clubs. It just caught up to me, so the consistency of my actions and decisions really led me down a path of destruction, not just for me, but people around me. I hurt them too. So I don't know if to answer your question, but I kind of stayed in the slump, drank it away, and then walked away from the game of baseball.
If you had to do it over, what would you do?
If I had to do it over, I would have invested in myself in the sense of mentorship. I was always like the guy. Nobody could help me. Nobody could tell me nothing. And I think a lot of college athletes feel that in some way, shape, or form. You've felt that before. Maybe you're not there now. Maybe you're humble. That's awesome. That wasn't me as a college athlete. But if I could do it differently, I would have taken my life more seriously, thinking from a longer lens rather than just a temporary lens. I would have liked to have thought, and this is why I'm so passionate about young men and being able to coach them through life, because I just didn't think like that. I didn't have any reason to. I didn't have anything bigger than me that I believed in, or a family at the time, or just nothing. I was just living for the moment, and the moment was fun at the time, but it was not rewarding. It was destructive. So I would definitely have invested in a mentor and just asked for time and asked good questions and really thought about life beyond baseball, because I don't think we think about that enough. Our identity is placed in sports when we're athletes. It's easy to get there, and mine sure was. Like, I was a 3-sport athlete growing up, academic All-American in college. Like, my identity was formed and shaped in performance and sports, and my dad played a huge role in that too. Just pushed me to the next level and called it good coaching, but ultimately it kind of destroyed me, because when I walked away from baseball, I didn't have anything, or so I thought. But yeah, that's what I would do differently.
Do you guys have any fears that come to mind that you'd be willing to share?
I mean, I had, this isn't necessarily like a fear. I mean, I guess it is. But like, I was on the 18th hole, like the tournament at Macero, and like I looked and I'm like, I thought I had a chance to win, and I looked and like the guy had like birdied, and I'm like, I didn't have a chance to win anymore, and I'm like, do I really deserve to win? That was like that's the thought that came to my mind. And I'm like, I don't know if I deserve to win. And I'm like, I didn't actually have like an answer to that. And funny enough, I was actually listening to a podcast about limiting beliefs on my way up to Richmond today.
Let's go.
It's funny about how we had this conversation. that was, like, I thought about that. I'm like, why did I have that thought? Like, do I, like, deserve this or whatever? I mean, whatever this is, winning or even just executing a shot or whatever. I mean, yeah, that's kind of something to share.
Where do you think that comes from?
That's a hard-hitting question.
Sorry, I like deep questions.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer.
No, I mean, I think honestly, just like a lot of it just comes from my past. Just I had a lot of like family trauma, like in like middle school, like early high school, and I think a lot of it comes from that. 'Cause like I wasn't like, I mean, I don't really talk to you guys about this, but like I mean, I wasn't really very well off like freshman-ish year of high school and stuff like that, and I've always had like a lot of honestly a lot of self-doubt and like just anxiety when it comes to like performance and stuff, and I battled that in high school a lot, like just like trying to even play golf through that. But it wasn't the golf that was causing that, it was the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like I remember I was talking to someone on the team about this the other day. Like I was literally in Palm Springs on vacation, like sophomore year of high school, and like I was just like playing like an afternoon tee time with like some people I didn't know, and I was like uncontrollably shaking on the first tee, like hell am I doing?
Yeah.
And like that was like my like kind of like wake up call, 'cause my dad caught it too, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. It's like I can't play, like I can't do this, and like, and it was a lot of what was going on in the rest of my life, like not at that time, but before that as well.
So good. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
Because I think it's interesting too, because you see both sides of the spectrum of people, like you said, who feel undeserving of anything, right? Where that's not healthy. But then you get people that are like, I deserve everything, and if I don't get it, it's somebody else's fault, right? So there's this two extremes where how then can we as professionals get to the middle of that, to where it's like, so I had a good pastor friend of mine say, I'm not too big for small rooms, but I'm also not too small for big rooms, which I was like, that's brilliant. I'm going to steal that, right? So what it means is I'm humble enough to talk to 6 guys, but I've also been on stages where thousands of people have been present, right? I'm not too big to sit here with 6 young men to develop a thought in you or break a limiting belief. But I'm also sure as heck not too small to go talk to thousands of people. Does that make sense? So like, I think the beautiful thing is too, is like, I don't deserve that, but I'm gladly going to accept it because of what my impact will be. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we don't deserve everything we get. It's how we respond to it in humility that actually makes it a gift to other people, because you are a gift to other people. I don't know if you know that or if people have told you that. Sometimes men are like, they get weird and awkward about it. Like, you're a gift, same way you're a gift. You have different gifts. You have different gifts. You have different gifts to offer people. No, I'm just kidding. You have different. you have plenty of gifts to offer people. You're each unique in your own way, which is the beautiful thing about why you were created. You were created on purpose for a purpose, right? And I think this it's a there can be a healthy balance there, is what I'm saying. Is you don't have to be. I just will come back to the quote. You don't have to feel too big for small rooms, because that would be prideful. But you don't also have to feel too small for big rooms. You don't have to feel like you're undeserving of winning, right? Because that's a limiting belief. I think you're very deserving of winning. Why? Because of the preparation that you put in, and I can already tell you're humble about it. Because you have the opposite spectrum of, well, I don't deserve it. Those people are always humble. Now, some people mask in that, but the way I read you, I don't think you're masking in that. I think it's a genuine feeling. But what I'm saying is you can level up if you just break that limiting belief that you don't deserve something, because I think you're well deserving of it because of the preparation that you put in, the trauma that you've been through, right? Whatever that looks like. And the fact that you've overcome all that and look where you are. Do you know any, statistically, percentage-wise, how many people play college golf or make it to play college golf? Do you have any idea? Because I don't. I wish I had that stat. Yeah, who goes on to play college golf?
Of high schoolers?
Sure.
It's
8%. 8%. You are in 8% of the population of the world. Or in the US. We'll just call it the US. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
So I just broke a limiting belief. You are deserving because you put in the work to even get to the 8%. There are people who will work their entire lives and never make it into the 8%. It's not that they're not deserving, they're just not good enough. And that's fine too, right?
Yeah.
But who makes the rules? Yeah. So if you're deserving, or you feel like you're not deserving, but you can accept the fact that you're a winner and stay in that humble place in your mind, right? Then that's a win, my friend, in life. That's a character win, that's a development win, that's a limiting belief breaker win, to where now you've come to a place to where you're not this like arrogant piece of work, but you're humble enough to be like, yeah, I worked hard to get here. I'll gladly accept that trophy, right? And I think your teammates all should and would feel the same way. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it's an interesting dichotomy of the two sides of the spectrum. But I think more people live there than they're willing to admit. But don't forget, you're part of the 8%. So you are deserving because you got here, which is impressive. So well done.
Is it pie time?
Pie's ready.
Pie time.
You kind of just brought it up a little bit what I was going to say, but like a lot of times, I mean, it doesn't happen more than I'd like it to. Like being in contention or whatever, or
Yeah.
being in a position to win, it's almost, for me, it's more relief to lose, or to, like, say I need to finish even, like I need to par my last three, and I say I double my 16th hole. It's like, okay, now it's like relief that I don't have to face the pressure of parring 17, 18, or whatever.
Super good.
It's, yeah, I don't know how to word that, but
I know exactly what you're saying. Because as a spectator, I'm almost thinking, the way I think about that is like, dude, whoever came in 5th at the Masters is still getting a payout and they don't have to go through the pressure of winning one.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's just like my brain. But then also, the competitor in me is like, no, I want the jacket. And the millions of dollars, but I want the jacket. Because the jacket is the symbol of ultimate eliteness, right? As you guys understand. What do you think about it? Like you just brought up your own, right? So like being in contention, do you hear that? Okay, so being in contention, and what you're saying, what I'm hearing you saying is it's almost easier when you do, or if you do bogey that hole or double bogey that hole, it's almost easier now that you're too far back in strokes that it's like I don't have to compete for one. Is that right?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that I don't like being in the spotlight, or being getting praised or whatever. I've never really been like that. So maybe it's just trying to take myself out of that situation, or of the possible situation.
I'll speak from a place of, I always did like praise. I always used to be, past tense, arrogant. I still struggle with that creeping in, so I have to be careful with it. So I'll speak from a place of that. I always did want the praise, and as a quarterback, I often got it, but I also often deferred it to the O-line, like every good quarterback does, right? So what I think for you is you just assessed that fear, right? Or problem, okay? Now we're gonna challenge that limiting belief. We're gonna use the exact framework that I just gave you. We're gonna challenge that limiting belief and say, what if you did contend and you did win, what would happen? Would you all of a sudden be arrogant?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? Because your character has been developed and built into you, right? You'd be confident in saying, I've developed my character this far, I've been humble, and I don't like praise. So what if we go to the unlikely and then we challenge that limiting belief and we say, if you win, when you win, and you're competing at a very high level and you're choosing to chase that fear as you're challenging that belief, now you're executing in feeling that pressure, you're embracing that pressure. What if you lose? Then what? You don't get the praise, right?
No.
Okay? But you chased your fear and you proved to yourself that you could do it, that you could feel it, that you could get nervous, that your stomach could hurt, that your palms get sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, vomit on. No, I'm just kidding. Some of you are like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, half mine.
Yeah. So as you're working through that, you not only proved to yourself that you could chase fear, but you also showed yourself that the next time you're in contention, you know what to do because you've already done it.
Yeah.
But my fear for you is if you automatically get into the mindset of not going through this framework when you're in contention, that you'll always stay out of contention on purpose.
Yeah.
That's no way to play. And you know that, right?
Yeah.
You're the high-level golfer. I'm just somebody yapping, right? But I've developed a mindset that I think can help you, right? And that mindset is simply chasing fear. You're going to assess it, you're going to challenge it, which we just did, and then you're going to execute it. So my last point is if you win, right, the first question that I posed to you was if you lose, then what? You don't get the praise and then, okay, cool. If you win, you do get the praise, but you remain the same, what's your name?
Mason.
You remain the same Mason that you were before you won. That's an awesome thing. Except you just have a...
Green jacket.
Yeah. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Because you've already done the work to prepare your character and you've already developed yourself as a man. That winning doesn't change you, nor does losing. But my fear is that losing will keep you from being the professional that you can be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when you're in contention, stay in contention and chase that fear. Because I think you can win.
Yeah.
And why not you? Same thing with you. Why not you? You know? Not you guys. Only them. I'm just playing. You guys have any more questions? I know it's dinner time. We can, I'm staying to eat with you guys too. That's cool. So we could chat over pizza. You guys cool with that? This dude's hecka hungry, I could tell.
Let's go.
All right, let's eat.